Aye guys, it's Chrissy again with another one of these Pokemon Go vidlog things I've been doing for the past few community days. This one almost just didn't go ahead, mainly because I felt it was a little bit pointless. You had a hop into spring event which basically gave you Togechick with a flower crown, so you didn't really need to do this one. Yeah, you were earning the candies for this event, but other than that, you could have been earning candies throughout the hop into spring event. So, like, if you missed this community day, it really wouldn't have made any much difference. As far as the community day goes, the exclusive move that you could learn, which was Aurora Sphere, wasn't particularly great. It's good for like a secondary move. Probably you'll find some big time YouTuber that does Pokemon Go videos telling you how great a move it is and you have to have it. It's really not that big a deal. It really isn't. In fact, I would have found Hidden Power is probably the better move since it charges faster and you can use it sooner. But what do I know, man? As for the shinies, well, it was hard to actually spot the difference between A and B. You can probably see in the little side by side I've got that there wasn't much difference in the colour. A little tinge of yellow maybe, with if it wasn't for the sparkles you probably wouldn't have noticed. As per usual, the usual community day tasks consisted of power up a Pokemon, which came as no surprise. I also threw in transfer 10 Pokemon, which is nothing we've never seen before, and they even threw it in twice just to be sure, which is hilarious really. Of course, this task is made a lot easier when you have an army of scatterbugs that you've probably been holding on to for a while. They serve no purpose apart from transferring them for candies anyway, so ideal. You're probably wondering why they went with Togetic as the community day Pokemon and not Togepi. Well, this is actually a little cheeky marketing scheme that Niantic throw together every now and then. You probably heard some other Pokemon channels say that this is the first time they've done a mid-evolution Pokemon as a community day. Well, that is wrong, because back in 2018 they had Pikachu as their community day Pokemon, and that is a mid-evolution because at 2018 they'd released Johto and Pichu was available. Of course, back in 2021, Roselia was the community day Pokemon, and it's also a mid-evolution because you could have had Budyu. What they tend to do is a little cheeky ploy. They'll tell you that you can get Budyu, Pichu, or in this case Togepi, from 2k eggs with boosted rates. This basically means that every 2k egg you hatch during community day will probably be Togepi. If they'd made Togepi the community day Pokemon, then you would not buy egg incubators. Egg incubators is the bread and butter of this community day. It's where the money would come in, because of course you want shinies of all three stages, and the only way you're going to get that is if you hatch eggs, and there's no money to be made in giving away a free baby Pokemon, so that's how they do it. It was the same for Pikachu, Pichu, it was the same with Roselia and Budyu. It was the same story. They want you to spend coins, they want you to spend money, and that's how they do it. So it's quite straightforward. Clever, but I have to say Togepi, Togetic, Togekiss have to be possibly the most boring trio you could possibly throw out there right now. Shiny wise, they look no different. They are pretty much, like I said before, a yellowy tinge. It's really not that worth. It's nothing groundbreaking. I will say that Togekiss is a good Pokemon to have in PvP and in gym fights. It's a good one for taking down dragons. Other than that, it serves not much more purpose really. Candy wise, you would have been looking at a good haul. You're looking at a mid-evolution Pokemon, which probably would have gave you 10, plus a pin-up, 20, plus the fact it was doubled on community day anyway. Do the math. I mean, I think at the end of it I had at least 7,000, maybe 8,000 candies just for Togetic alone. XL candies pretty high. So yeah, it was an interesting community. You could quite easily max this one out, get a good gym defender, a good attacker, and a good PvP specialist in the mix. But nothing to cry home about. It wasn't that big a deal. As for the evolution stage, normally I do actually show you each evolution stage as it goes on, the shiny side and normal side. I'm not doing it this time because there's no bloody point. I had a shiny of each from A last year and B this year, this community day. So I'll just show you them side by side and you'll see that there's not much difference. Of course, when we got to the scoreboard, Gemma was back out on the prowl this time, so she was actually hitting us hard and hitting me hard. As you can see, she won by 1 shiny, but she caught just shy of 600 within that 3 hours. Pretty decent. As for Regieleki, the elite raid, I really am not a big fan of these elite raids. They do my nut in. This time around we struggled to find gyms that actually hosted the raid in the first place, and the ones we did find were almost unsafe to be around. One was at a junction on a road, and we were told to move because it's actually the entrance and exit of a company that does car washing and valeting, and we were dead in the way. We got told to move a few times before we actually finished it. Wasn't a hard raid, I've got to say. It was pretty easy. Probably could take down with at least 4 people, but we had quite a lot. We had at least 11 people out that day, so it's doable. The gym distances is too far apart, and I really can't understand why at the end of a community day they can make every gym in a certain area 4-star raids where you have to beat Togetic in a raid, and then it'll have Togetic spawning all over the place. But you can't get an elite raid at every gym, you know? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Surely there's some way of having every gym have an elite raid at the same time. You can pretty much do that with the community day raids. I can't see why you can't do it with the elite raids. I mean, the distance between each of these gyms, we were walking past 3 or 4 gyms which all had an elite raid egg, but it wouldn't hatch for another 3 hours because they're in 3-hour segments. So it's like, this egg won't hatch till 2 o'clock, this egg won't hatch till 5 o'clock. And you're like, right, I'm here at 11 and I have to walk halfway across a town to get to another gym. It's never going to happen, especially if the town is busy. Traffic flow, all that, there's a lot of things stopping you from getting from one gym to another. It should just be every gym. But the other gripe I've got is getting a 2-star value Pokemon at the end, which is a complete slap in the face. If I'm showing up in person, at least give me some incentive to actually show up in person. I mean, why would I want to show up for anything less than a 3? And finally, another thing, I was going to make a video way back when it happened, but I decided against it because personally I don't see the point. What it comes down to is at the end of March there was a big announcement where they were changing the rules on remote raids. So from now on you were only allowed to do 5 raids a day, but the price went way up. Talking way up. Thing is, I take no issue whatsoever in 5 raids a day. I think that's pretty decent. Considering Niantic could just scrap the whole thing entirely, then you'd be in a lot of trouble. But the coins going up, I mean, if it had been like 150 for one and 400 for a set of three, then I'd understand. It's at least a little bit less, and Niantic still get to keep their greedy side on, but realistically, 525 and 195, who invents these numbers? It is beyond belief. Other than that, there's been the HearUsNiantic movement, which I don't really agree on. Normally, this kind of thing ends in going nowhere. I've seen some of the bigger YouTube channels plug in the HearUsNiantic stuff, and I'm sorry, but if I stuck a bow in my head and called me Chrissy 2S's and you commented on my video, it would not make a damn difference. I could have 1 million followers, it wouldn't make any damn difference. It doesn't really make any headway. Niantic will never hear you. They're not interested. It makes no difference how many comments you put on these people's videos. They're never going to see it. Even if they did see it, they don't care. And it's when you get players that sit and go, oh, I've been a player since 2016, and that means nothing. I'm sorry, but if you've been a player since 2016, you should be used to the fact that Niantic don't give a crap about what you have to say or think. It's probably taken you 7 years to realise nothing's going to change. If by some miracle the price comes down, then I'd be happy with that. Until now, I can see a lot less raiding. A lot of communities that were made online will suffer, and to be honest, the game will probably die out like it did way back in 2017 when there was nothing going on and most people abandoned it to do other things, and it might make a comeback. As it is, they drip feed you a new Pokemon maybe once a month, so there's no real pace to the game. But when you see these people giving it the, oh well, that's it, I quit, I'm never playing again, blah blah blah, goodbye world, and it's like, well, this isn't an airport, you don't have to announce your departure, bye, but do be sure to give your friends your shinies and your legendaries before you leave. As for the petition that went round, I've got this screenshot of a petition. I know there's like another 4 petitions that went round and everybody was jumping on it. Is it always going to make any difference? It probably won't. When you get to the point when you're sending death threats to the staff in Niantic, you got to wonder, maybe you're taking it a little too far. End of the day, it is a game. Get over it. Move on. I'll be honest, as much as I do the Pokemon Go stuff, it is mainly for my community. It's not for everybody, and most people don't like getting told exactly how it is. So it's a game for casuals. Always is, always will be. If you want a real Pokemon game, go and sit and play Violet and Scarlet on the Switch. Anyway, I think I've said my say on it. I don't want to get too in depth with this thing because there's absolutely no point. The next Community Day is Community Day Classic at the end of the month for Swinub. I'll include that in next month's video because I think this one's enough for a month. Once a month is fine for me. These videos are pretty hard to make, or they're hard to talk about, or they're getting harder to talk about. If you're looking for any kind of advice for Swinub Day, catch as many as you can as per usual. Use pin-apps, Mega Evolve, Mudkip, Steelix, a Groudon, a Abomasnow, or Glacie, so you'll get extra candy that way. And keep a good stock of Sinnoh Stones if you want to go as far as catch Mamoswine from Piloswine. That's all you need to know. Enjoy your Community Day, and we'll see you next month for that. Until then, please leave me a like if you feel I still deserve one after this, and do feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.